So today's discussion is focusing on a strategy known as the safety net sales strategy. And a lot of you can relate to this, but what we find is that a lot of times IT and decision makers in general feel bombarded. They feel a little overwhelmed in terms of messaging, and they tend to ignore what we're trying to do. And so this particular strategy is going to help you be a little bit different in your approach and help differentiate yourself and ultimately win more deals because of the nature of this strategy. Now, what we want to do in order to get their attention and get the IT professionals to actually pay attention to your messaging, we need to understand what their greatest fear is. Their fear will allow us to drive the leverage and be able to have the ability to get them to turn and look at what we're trying to talk about. Now, there's a lot of things that we can consider their top 3 fears, but one of them that may be piquing their interest right now based on everything that's happening, although coronavirus still may be at the top 3, but another thing is a lot of people are concerned about the economy and what's happening and about the future of their job. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, what can my technology do other than keeping the company successful that can help meet or help diminish this fear of losing their job? And that's really what this safety net strategy is all about. So if you work within in the technology business, pretty much everything is becoming a cloud-based product or some type of a product that has an ongoing recurring revenue. And depending on how you're compensated, oftentimes you'll get paid a residual. If you're not getting paid residuals, you may consider partnering with other organizations that pay residuals in order to be able to earn that, because that's really the leverage that we need for this strategy to work. And so the way the safety net strategy actually works and how you can execute this is when someone buys technology from you, what you can do is you can set aside a bank account, and there's different ways to do this. We'll talk about that in a second. But what you'll do is you'll take 25 to 30 to 50%, depending on how you want to work this and what you negotiate with the IT manager, and say, look, if anything happens to your job, I'm going to take the revenue that's generated from this cloud product that you purchased, and I'm going to keep it in this bank account. If nothing happens, great. You can stay where you're at. But you can know that this money is going to be accumulating over time, and it's going to give you this option to basically get out of jail. It's like a get out of jail card from Monopoly. And so what this does is it provides something that no one else can really provide, which is the ultimate sales safety net. And so this helps you differentiate yourself because, in part, the IT managers and decision makers that you're working with are going to be afraid to adopt new technology because it may put their job at risk if they make a bad decision. So let's say they adopt a new UCaaS platform and it doesn't work the way it's expected. Maybe the phone call quality as it wasn't expected. There was an outage. But this helps actually work in your favor in terms of not taking away that fear that they feel when they're adopting new technology, because a lot of these folks are experiencing anxiety about the future of their job, especially within specific industries, but also with adopting new technology. And so this safety net strategy, although the residuals won't be much at first, they will grow over time. And so what you'll do is you'll basically set this up and say, look, here it is, and you can send them monthly statements and saying this is where we're at. And there's different ways to run with this if they do decide to move forward. And this is what you can negotiate with the person beforehand. I would recommend putting together a simple contract or even just spelling it out in an email and saying, look, this is the agreement, this is how we're going to work. But what you'll want to do is the best strategy that I've found from different sales reps is actually setting it up and saying, look, you can have this money, but it's not just money that I'm going to give away. I want you to become a partner in my company or work with me. And what we're going to do is you're going to be independent. You'll have access to all this money, so you'll have that freedom. But you'll also be able to go out and sell new services, but you'll have this safety net of residual consistent money plus all of the money that's accumulated beforehand to be able to go out and start basically your own your own sub-agency within that company. And so what this does is it helps you pay for new future sales employees, gives them peace of mind. It also gives them the option to someday have the freedom to walk away from their job or have a backup. And so there's multiple layers of incentives here for the sales reps. And on top of this is great because oftentimes it's not ethical to pay people, although this happens every day, where you can pay them a bonus or a gift card or something along those lines in exchange for their business. But what this does is it helps keep the money close to home, and it also provides future employees for you in the future. But ultimately, the greatest value that you can do is you're catering to that fear and anxiety that they have about the future of their job. So based on what's happening in the world today in the economy, nobody's really sure about what's going to happen next. And there's a lot of industries that the vulnerability is much higher. So think about travel and hotels and hospitality and maybe retail. A lot of these guys don't know what's going to happen next. And a lot of times the technology and services that you're selling may help these companies actually avoid future disasters. And so not only can you help them on the front end from keeping the company safe in terms of providing remote access and backup and things of that nature, but you can also provide some backup to the actual job of these employees. What's also nice is if you're providing them with a monthly or quarterly statement, this helps remind them that when they need new services, they can turn to you because all of this is being accumulated within one spot. So it makes these companies a lot more sticky. They're going to turn to you more often because this is where the money is being accumulated. So if you offered a gift card, they're just going to go to the next guy who can offer them a better gift card. But in this sense, the money stays close to home because you're accumulating that for them on an ongoing basis. And if they switch jobs or whatever it may be, you're always going to be the #1 recommendation because of this stronghold that you've been able to establish.